Hi everyone, welcome to Table for Two. I am the Elusive Bigfoot.
And I'm Onezie.
Today we are giving you our top 5 picks for games that we like to travel with, or when we're at an airport or anything like that. These are in no particular order. For me, the categories that I picked were something that didn't have a large footprint, easy to set up or take down. What about you?
Easy to pack and not a large footprint.
And not too heavy, because we have to carry it around.
Not too heavy.
Yeah.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, so my first is an honorable mention. The first one I have is actually a classic, and it is Uno. And the Uno that I happen to have is Uno H2O, so the cards are plastic. Uno's a classic game, and you never know who you might meet. They may know how to play cards, and I get to invite them to play with us. So, Uno.
All right. In no particular order, my pick is Just Desserts.
Oh.
So we take this a lot with us when we travel and go out and stuff. It's a card game, competitive, and you try to satisfy these guests in a dessert shop by having different ingredient cards in your hand. It's very fun to play. There's alternate rules that can make it harder. You can steal cards from each other and so on, but in the easy version, you're just trying to satisfy some guests in the restaurant, and the first player to score the appropriate number of points wins.
Mm-hmm.
Just Desserts, 2 to 5 players.
One thing I've always noticed about Just Desserts is they have pictures of beautiful desserts on there, and wouldn't it be great if they had recipes too? I'd love that.
The recipes would be good.
All right, my next game is Trails. So if you saw our video on top 5 games we like to play outdoors, you would have seen Parks. This is like a miniature version of Parks. In this one, though, you are traveling multiple days along the path, and you're trying to earn merit badges based on if you see seeds or nuts, or there's one other thing, I think stones. So you bring those back and you trade them in for badges. It's not too heavy, packs well. I really like this. And this one also plays 2 to 4. And one thing I like about it, it's not a fast game. So sometimes a game can last 20 to 40 minutes. So that will definitely help fill up some time as we're waiting for that flight. All right, Parks. Or, sorry, Trails.
Another one that showed up before on our list is Mr. Jack Pocket Edition.
Were you not sure who this was?
I wasn't sure. He's
got one name. Title. He's got one name, and his first name is not his last name, Jack.
I remember it's called Mr. Jack, but I didn't remember the Pocket Edition was. I see that it's right there. Thank you. Yes, Pocket Edition. So with Mr. Jack is for 2 players, and one player plays Mr. Jack, who's trying to get away. The other player plays Sherlock Holmes, Watson, and their dog, trying to find Mr. Jack in the city. And you rotate tiles and take turns guessing who is Mr. Jack. And if Mr. Jack can survive till the end without anybody guessing who he is, then Mr. Jack wins.
And it's also got a certain number of rounds, right?
Certain number of rounds, limited number of rounds. Nice small box. It would fit in your bag or purse or backpack, whatever, to take as a travel game. Mr. Jack Pocket Edition.
Okay, I like that game. My next game I am bringing out is The Crew, Mission Deep Sea. So there have been 2 crews. The first one went to, I want to say it's Planet 9. Deep Space Nine? Deep Planet 9. Planet Space 9?
We'll find out in just a minute, because I chose The Crew as well.
This one changes the goals regularly at random. You pull open a certain amount of cards, and that will be your objective. So that's why I really love Mission Deep Sea.
So mine was The Crew as well, the original Crew.
Oh, The Quest for Planet 9. I had some of the words.
The Quest for Planet 9. How could you forget?
I know.
Right.
So easy, just trips off the tongue.
So The Crew is 3 to 5 players. However, you can play it as a 2-player game with a kind of fictitious third person.
Jarvis.
He's named Jarvis. And we have fun playing it for 2 people. So you can definitely play The Crew for 2 people. The artwork is great on all the cards. You just have to choose whether you want to be outer space crew or underwater crew. So
I will also say that if you go with the Quest for Planet Nine, the deep space one, it walks you through. So if you're not accustomed to trick-taking games, it walks you through one level at a time. So I really appreciate that they did that. The other thing that I want to mention that you pointed out too is that for two players, you would have a fictitious character called Jarvis that you take turns managing. Usually, I don't care for dummy hands, but the way that this plays, I thought was very clever. I like it as a two-player game.
yeah, I really like it that it's a trick-taking game, and
It's a
so
co-op trick-taking game.
it's a co-op limited communication
Yeah,
trick-taking game.
yeah.
So if you played Hearts or Pinochle or anything like that, and you know about trick-taking, this kind of takes it to the next level where you don't try to win all the tricks. You try to have the team win them in a certain order, or make sure nobody wins the green three or something like that.
Right. There'll be clear instructions about what your goal is for that hand.
Right. So that's the crew and the crew.
Okay. My next one is actually FLUXX Games. I love FLUXX. They make Paco games, and let me show you what this looks like. They look like gum sticks, and each one has a set of cards, which that's what they look like. They're each individual long cards. These games are phenomenal. I think there's maybe one or two that will play solo. They all have different types of objectives, different length of games. Some are 20 minutes, some are 10 minutes, some are 30 minutes. All of them are phenomenal. I think what I ended up doing, because I ended up buying all of them during one of the last Kickstarters, is I made a set of my favorite FLUXX games. And maybe, we can rate the FLUXX games in the order that we really like them. So if you're interested in that, let us know in the comments. That is Paco Games by FLUXX.
All right, my next game for travel is FLUXX. This one happens to be Monster FLUXX. There are many, many kinds of FLUXXes. So if you get the original FLUXX, it's just kind of a generic game with generic cards. However, they've come out with 20 or 30 or several hundred themed FLUXX games.
I think we have over 15.
Over 15 of
Yeah,
them.
so that's another thing that we can definitely do a review on and rate our favorite FLUXXes.
So this
See how that
one,
comes out.
Monster FLUXX, it has all the classic movie monsters in it: Frankenstein, Dracula, all the classic movie monsters. And the great thing about FLUXX, it starts out as a very simple game: just draw a card and play a card. But as you go, the rules will change, and the goal of the game will change. So the goal might change, and you might get the old goal in your hand and say, "Oh, darn it, I would have won if it was 2 minutes ago." But now there's a new goal, and I can't.
Yeah.
Or now all of a sudden there's a new goal, and you've won. Right? Somebody's won. So that's FLUXX. It's a lighthearted, not serious game. Very fun and very easy to learn. So any theme of FLUXX. I think we like Wizard of Oz FLUXX. We played that one a lot.
The last one we bought was Alice in Wonderland. They've got Zombie FLUXX. They've got Star Trek Original, Crew, Next Gen, Deep Space Nine. I mean, they've just got a lot of them, and they're fun to play with. Sometimes they have a different mechanic, which makes that one a little bit of a twist.
A lot of themes on FLUXX. Find the FLUXX you like. Play FLUXX.
Play FLUXX. All right, my last one is a classic. It is Phase 10. So when we first came up with this topic that we wanted to present about top 5 travel games, this is one of the first games that I thought of. It is a classic game. It is a simple game. But the thing is, it can take as long as you want it to take, and it's easy to pack up and go. So if we were to play nonstop, I'm going to guess that this game might take 40 minutes to an hour to play if you play with to get all the objectives in the hands. And if you haven't played Phase 10, sometimes you have to get 2 pairs. And then the next time you have to get 3 of a kind. And then maybe the next time you have to get a run of 3 cards. And then the next time a run of 3 cards in the same suit. So it grows deeper and deeper in difficulty. So you have to, there are certain rules, kind of like rummy, certain rules you have to abide by in order to fulfill on it. But the thing that's great about Uno for me, I'm sorry, phase 10, I don't know if I said flex, but the thing about phase 10 is that at any given time, if we need to pack it up, we just need to remember what I was going for next. So maybe I was going for three of a kind, same suit, and I just have to remember that. So when we come up, it's very easy for us to pick it right back up again.
Yeah, I think you mentioned Uno because there's Uno advertising.
They make Uno too.
Uno advertising on the top.
All right.
Right. My last game is one that's good for traveling in the suitcase. It's also good for any time. It's one of my favorite games. Tiny Epic Galaxies. Make sure I got it right side up. So there's a whole series of tiny epic games. They come in a small box, as you can see. The games are all really good. My favorite one is Tiny Epic Galaxies. And it comes with the rocket ships, and the cards are planets that you can explore and conquer and get points. You can develop your civilization. It's actually a pretty deep game-wise, but in a small package. So I recommend Tiny Epic Galaxies, 1 to 4 players.
And I lied. I actually had one more because I started out with an honorable mention. So my 5th game is actually Tiny Epic Galaxies.
You stole it from me. You stole my Galaxies.
I love this game. As he mentioned, it's got a small footprint. It does have some dice, but one thing that I love, and let me see if I can show this to you. I think it's the top one. Yeah, on the top it says right here, it's a dice tray. So you can roll the dice directly in here, and it doesn't take up much room. We love this game. They have an expansion called the Black. So anytime that we want to take it to another level, we can always bring that as well. But that is Tiny Epic Galaxies.
All right, that's our top 5 each in no particular order for travel games. For Table for Two, thank you for watching. I'm Onezie.
I'm the Elusive Bigfoot.
Until next time.
Thank you.